How's it going, Jack Tackers, and welcome back to another video for you guys. It's that time of the month again. Today I am going to be going over the movies and TV I watched this month here in October 2020. So, as always, let's start off by reviewing the month with the TV. I watched a little bit of TV this month for sure. Let's start off with The Walking Dead. Obviously, it was well awaited for its finale, or technical finale. I heard a rumor that they're doing 6 extra episodes for season 10. I don't exactly know if that's true anymore. Nonetheless, the finale was pretty decent, but after it ended, I just kind of was like, oh yeah, my relationship with The Walking Dead's really on edge right now, so I'm not, like, really loving it as much as I used to, but I'm excited for season 11, and obviously its final season. That will be its final season, so that'll be interesting to see. Then I watched The Walking Dead World Beyond. That started this month. I only watched one episode, though. Who cares? A lot of people don't like it. I know it's only getting 2 seasons, but we'll see where it goes. It was supposed to have a lot of connections for the Rick Grimes movies and stuff, but man, I'm just tired of it. I didn't get to check out Fear the Walking Dead this month, mainly because I just didn't want to, so that's not on this list, but apparently Fear the Walking Dead's really good right now. It's like 3 for 3 at the time of me making this video, in terms of 3 good episodes. So that's pretty interesting. Then I watched Big Brother. I watched a shit ton of Big Brother. Oh man, I want to make some Big Brother videos. Where the hell are my Big Brother fans at? I don't know if anyone who watches my videos watches Big Brother, maybe like a few people, but I really want to make Big Brother videos, dude. I want to rank the seasons. I want to rank the winners of each season. I want to, oh man, I watched so much Big Brother. Season 22 ended this month, and I also went back and watched some of the older seasons. There's a bunch of compilations on YouTube for older seasons, and oh, it was great. I just had a blast watching old Big Brother episodes and going through all the iconic moments. And this season, I thought the finale, which I won't spoil anything, I guess, but the finale, oh man, I don't know. I love this show. Then I watched the Eric Andre show. This is a fun series that I was so glad to see return. Obviously, because it hadn't been on in like 3 years. However, I just recently watched and caught up on season 4. Because I had been watching this show for like years, but I just never got the chance to like finish it for some reason. So I just binged season 4, and then I found out season 5 was happening, and they dropped 2 episodes as of me filming this, so they were funny. Sad that Hannibal's leaving. That was, I was a little upset by that, but of course Hannibal doesn't want to do the show anymore. I completely understand that, but, he's awesome, of course, iconic. Then I watched Brother vs. Brother. I went over this a little bit in some of these other months in review episodes, but yeah, it's a fun little show. I like. It ended this month. I don't know when we're getting, I believe, an 8th season, because I think this was season 7. I don't know when that's going to happen, but hopefully soon. Then I watched The Amazing Race, another reality TV show that's kind of in the same vein as Big Brother, airs on CBS. The trilogy, or trinity, of reality TV is Big Brother, Survivor, The Amazing Race. They're all on CBS. And The Amazing Race, I love it. Not as good as Big Brother, but I still really love The Amazing Race. It's my 3rd season watching, so I haven't been watching it for like ever, but I still really enjoy it. Then, of course, The Mandalorian returned. Only 1 episode so far, but it was great. Oh my god, I'm not going to spoil anything, of course, but that ending, holy shit, I cannot believe they did that, man. The Mandalorian's great. I really, really love it, and I'm so looking forward to the rest of the season, because I think it's going to be awesome. Anyways, of course, let's move on to the movies. So, I actually watched quite a bit of films, so this might take a while, so buckle down. Sure. First movie I watched, of course, I think I mentioned this in the last month in review. I was rewatching the Planet of the Apes trilogy, the new Planet of the Apes trilogy. So, War for the Planet of the Apes. I didn't get around to seeing it in September, so I rewatched it this month. I love this movie. It's really good. I don't know if it's the best of the trilogy, but I certainly enjoy it. These movies are really good. Which I thought they were, but like I hadn't seen them in a while, so rewatching them, I really was like, oh yeah, these are good movies. Then I rewatched Batman Forever, starting off with 2 rewatches. I actually rewatched a lot of movies, but Batman Forever, why'd I rewatch it? Well, it's kind of a Halloween movie. I didn't realize it, but there's actually a moment where it takes place during Halloween, and Riddler and Two-Face are like pretending to be trick-or-treaters. it's kind of cinema, but I don't know. I like Batman Forever. Like I'm a huge supporter of the release to Schumacher cut, so I'm really excited if they ever do that. I'd be really excited for it. But this movie's actually okay in my mind. Batman and Robin's where it's like really bad. This one's still watchable, but it is cringe. Like there is some cringe moments in here that I kind of like forgot about for some reason. Like there's some really bad cringe moments in here, but there's also some decent stuff. So I don't know. And then I watched Paranormal Activity 3. I was going to watch like all the Paranormal Activities this year, and obviously I've seen 3 of them thus far. But I don't think I'm going to get around to watching all of them. But Paranormal Activity 3, it's on Hulu, so I was just kind of like, yeah, I'll just watch it because I planned on watching it, and it's spooky. It's okay. It's probably the worst one so far, even though apparently a lot of people really like this one. I don't know. It's not a bad movie, but yeah, I don't think it was like the best one. I still think the original Paranormal Activity is the best, at least in terms of the ones I've seen so far. Then I watched Stargirl, that Disney Plus movie that aired like a few months ago. I don't know why I watched this. This was kind of a random one. It was on my 2020 watch list for movies that were released this year that I didn't get the chance to see. And I watched it, and I was like, who cares? I don't know why. Like, I knew people didn't really like this movie, but I was like, well, maybe I will. No. Then I watched Crawlers, which is, I would say, a Halloween-ish movie, except it takes place during St. Patrick's Day. Really weird. But it's not the worst movie ever made. It's okay-ish. Then I watched the 1931 Dracula, the original, the OG Dracula. I found it pretty boring. Again, not awful, but like I couldn't get into it. Then I watched Absolute Cinema, the best film of 2020, Hubie Halloween. I love Adam Sandler. I love Happy Madison. I'm not joking. Like I love Just Go With It, Jack and Jill, all those fucking dumb movies. I love them, and you should too. Then I watched Batman: Death in the Family, which was like this virtual experience, but except I pirated it, so it just was like one version. You could, well, actually, it doesn't even matter if I pirated it. You have to actually buy the Blu-ray for this film to do the virtual experience, to like have different decisions. It's kind of like a Telltale game, if you ever played like the Walking Dead or Batman Telltale game, where you like make your own decisions. It's kind of like that, but like the one I saw was only one path that I think was like for everyone. Like there's a general retelling. It was just a retelling of Under the Red Hood. It was stupid, but it was whatever. You know what I mean? Because Under the Red Hood's a great film. This is like a retelling of it with some extra scenes here and there. It's like, okay. Then I watched Tremors: Shrieker Island. I was going to say this was kind of like a generic movie, and I'm a big fan of the Tremors franchise. I like it. But they hit you there at the end. No spoilers, of course. But they hit you there at the end, and I'm like, what the hell? What just happened? If you're a big Tremors fan, you'll probably really enjoy this. And I liked it. It's a good movie. I just don't think it's amazing. Then I watched Downhill, which was also on my 2020 watch list for movies that I missed this year. But Downhill, some people didn't really like it. It's a weird fucking movie. It's kind of like something I've never seen before, which is kind of weird because it's like really dumb, but like it's paced super weirdly. And the pacing for me, it's not like boring, but it's just like paced super weird. And I'm like, okay. Then I watched Hocus Pocus for the very first time. I know. It's an iconic Halloween film. I've never seen it. I guess I was more of a Halloween Town guy. But I liked it. It's fine. It's a good movie. Like, I understand why people like it, but I just don't have the nostalgia for it. Therefore, I'm kind of like, it's a good movie. I'd rewatch it, but I'm like, I'm not gonna watch. Like, it's not like my Halloween movie. Like, my go-to Halloween movie we'll get to later. Then I watched American Werewolf in London. This was okay, I would say. It was pretty decent. Had a great soundtrack, let me tell you that. Banging fucking soundtrack. Props to that. I love a movie with a good soundtrack, so I respect that shit. Seems like cinema to me. However, it was a very different movie than I was expecting. I want to say first act, but it wasn't even the first act. It was like half of the first act. Seemed really interesting. And it just kind of, something happens. I'm trying not to spoil anything, of course, again. I really try not to spoil anything in these videos. But it just kind of became a movie I wasn't expecting it to be. It wasn't a bad movie per se, but it just kind of became a little dull. Then I watched Spree, which, holy shit, this is one of my favorite movies of 2022. Spree, 2020 also. Spree is fucking good, dude. It stars Joe Keery, Steve from Stranger Things, and like it's just this guy starts killing people because he's like basically like an Uber driver, but like he's live streaming the whole thing. Oh fuck, dude! I rewatched it. So I'll just say that I saw it 2 times in the same month, like just days within each other. I rewatched it. I loved it that much. That's rare for me. Just just letting you know. But yeah, this is a fucking good movie. It's one of my favorites of the year for sure. Then I watched The Conjuring. I wanted to get more into James Wan's horror films, and obviously, since this is October, there's going to be some horror films on this list. But The Conjuring, I was really like looking forward to just to see James Wan's horror style. It's pretty good. I mean, I'm excited to see Insidious and what other movies did he do? Did he do like a Saw movie? I think he did. But this one was pretty solid. I enjoyed it. Then I watched the new Netflix film Rebecca. Uh, I saw the, I believe, 1940s version, directed by Alfred Hitchcock. I saw that version of Rebecca. Awful. This one is better. I know some people are going to disagree with me on that. But this one was better. It just still isn't great. I mean, ugh. Then I watched the original 1933 King Kong. Certain parts of it are definitely good and intriguing. It has a big idea for it. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but it's got like it takes risks with what it can do and stuff like that. And I really respect this film. However, I didn't find it all too intriguing. It could have been a lot better. I do think the first hour of the film's severely slow. However, once all the dinosaurs start chasing all the people on the island, and then King Kong obviously is in New York. I think it was New York, yeah, because the Empire State Building, idiot. He's in New York. That shit's cool. Obviously, everyone knows that iconic scene. So there's some good stuff in this movie. I'm not gonna like hate on it, but like it's a little kind of dull at certain moments. Then I watched The Bride of Frankenstein, which I actually enjoy. I think the 1931 Frankenstein, I believe. Obviously, this one came out in 1935. It's basically a direct sequel to that Frankenstein film, which I kind of like that, but at the same time, this is called The Bride of Frankenstein. The bride shows up in the last 5 minutes of the movie. What? Bullshit. Then I watched The Witches, the new Robert Zemeckis film. I like the 1990s version of The Witches, and obviously I like the Roald Dahl book. So I was excited to see, especially that Robert Zemeckis was directing this movie. I was like, oh shit, this might be good. It's fine. I mean, I know some people are saying Robert Zemeckis is losing his magic. I don't think so, man. I liked Welcome to Marwen, which came out in 2018, which was his newest movie until now. I liked Welcome to Marwen. I know some people didn't. I just didn't have any expectations going into that film, so I was like, oh, this is pretty good. The Witches, I did have expectations going into it, so that's why I was kind of like, shit. Because I like the Roald Dahl book, I like the movie that came out in the 90s, and Robert Zemeckis is a good director, so I was like, oh shit, this is going to be cinema. Except it's not. But it's not bad either. Then I watched Friday the 13th Part 2. Why Part 2? Because I already seen the original back in last year for the first time I watched it. So I was like, okay. And mind you, the only reason I watched Part 2 was because I thought this was where Jason gets his iconic hockey mask. But it's not. It's not until Part 3 where he gets it, apparently. What? What? Like, that mind boggles me, bro. How... What? He doesn't get his mask until the third fucking film? Oh my god. Then I watched George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead. This was pretty solid. I could definitely see a lot of the inspiration The Walking Dead took from this movie. It's got an interesting idea going for it. However, I do think it fumbles a little bit with the execution. It does become a little boring at moments. But I gotta say, the first maybe 20 minutes are kind of cinema. And oh my god, the cinematography, and again, George A. Romero, he's a pretty fucking great director here, and I can definitely see, like, this was like the beginning of modern cinema, I would say, modern horror. It really started to feel like it was starting to break away from the old classic version of horror that, people in the 30s, 40s, and 50s were used to. This really started to feel like a new era for horror and zombie movie. Well, I think this was, like, really the only first zombie movie there was. So, a lot of respect for this movie, and it's a decent movie, like, I like it, but I do think it fumbles a little bit. Then I watched On the Rocks with Bill Murray. That's really the only reason I wanted to see this one, and I had like the worst viewing experience for this movie. I gave it a 0.5 star on Letterboxd. I don't really know if that's fair because, like, I don't think it's a half-star movie, but like I don't even remember really watching it, so whatever. Then I rewatched The Nightmare Before Christmas, one of my favorite movies of all time to watch during Halloween. Oh, it's great. I love it. Another rewatch was The Shining. I love The Shining. I'm actually thinking of giving it 5 out of 5 stars. I try and steer away from giving a lot of movies 5 stars. I think I've only given like 30 movies 5 stars because like 5 stars is special. 4.5s, yeah, there's a few of those. 4 stars, there's definitely a lot of those. But 5 stars, that's something special. And like The Shining is like upon rewatch, like fuck, like ew, it's really good. I love this movie. It's like no other horror film. It's my favorite horror film. Then I watched The Thing, 1982. I'm scared to say it, but I didn't really like it that much. I don't know. I don't know, like, I don't know what I was expecting. I will say the special effects are actually probably the best special effects I've seen ever. John Carpenter is a solid director, of course, of his work in Halloween. Obviously, I do prefer Halloween over this movie. This isn't like a bad movie, but it's like, what? Like people are like saying this is basically the best like horror film ever made, even just one of the best movies ever made. Like people fucking love this one. And I mean, maybe it's part of the hype because a lot of movies when they're hyped up, and I'm like, oh, they're not that great. But like, it's not bad either. I'll rewatch it sometime down the line. But I just was like, what? What? Why do people like this? Anyways, the last movie I saw was another rewatch, Fun Size. I talked a little about this in my favorite horror films and Halloween movies. This isn't a horror film, it's just a Halloween movie. It's a fun little Halloween comedy. It's cinema. At the time of making this, I literally just watched it, just finished it. I love it. But that's all the movies and TV I watched this month in October. Let me hear all the movies and TV you watched down in the comments below. I'm interested to see what you guys saw, especially because it's Halloween. So let me hear some of your favorite horror movies, some of your favorite horror movies you saw this month, and obviously TV and just movies in general. Let me hear all that down in the comments below. If you guys like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Boop.